Hey friends, I just want to do a quick final video on the 55 Chevy. This AMT round 2 repop with 1/16 scale AMT 55 hardtop. So as you see, the project's complete now. A couple of things that I did was I added a carpet effect, and that was using this stuff here, and it's I can't remember what they call this stuff. It's Ranger Industries is the company that puts this out, and it's embossing dust or something, I think they call it. Embossing powder, dust powder, So it comes in a couple of well, actually it comes in quite a few colors. Oops. I have this cranberry, I have black, I have this kind of a bluish gray. I figured, most common interiors, and then I have the walnut, which I used on this project here. But you figure, with the most common interiors are going to be a dark color. You want something to go with the red finish cars, and that would be the cranberry. Something to go with blue, or blue white, or some of the lighter colors, and that would be this bluish gray color, steel it's called, but it's actually kind of just a powder blue color you see in the carpet, automobile carpeting from the 60s and 70s. And so anyway, that's we went with the brown. I don't know if the camera's picking up exactly how that looks. I thought it turned out really well. And all you need to do to work with that stuff is mix a water and white glue. Maybe that's better. You can kind of see the powdery effect, the carpet-like effect in there. So you just paint the area that you want the powder to stick to. Tape off the areas you don't want it, to adhere to, and just sprinkle that dust on there. And obviously before the before the car's assembled or anything, you got the tub out, where the seats are going to be. You tape off the areas where you're going to need to glue the seats down, and after you've applied your paint color. So I know I wanted the tub to be that same red brown that I used for the car, and that's to me a red brown number TS1. And of course the white, I always use racing white. Again, that's a Tamiya color, and forgive me, I don't have the can here. I think I used it all up. I don't remember what the SKU number is on what the product number is on that. I want to say it's maybe TS21, I don't recall. It's racing white, and I use racing white because it's got a nice cream effect to it. And then finally, with the once I masked off the white and sprayed the red brown, I misted the car with Testors copper. And you can see we got, it's kind of a heavier metal flake than you might get with a mixed metal flake paint, but I think it looks good on the car, which I'm tentatively calling the root beer float effect. That's what I was looking for. So the doors fit on this kit. The fit of the doors, once you have everything assembled, can be problematic. They don't always fit and close properly. What I did on the jambs was just add a small piece of the birch ply veneer that I get. I think that's I want to say that's 1/32 thickness. It could be the 1/64. I don't know. It was the thinnest one I had, and just cut a little sort of a jam plate shaped piece, something that wouldn't look out of place in a door jamb of a car, and stuck it in there to give us a nice pressure or friction fit. You can see that works pretty well on the car. There we go. We get the got to get the wing windows to plug in to their openings. Anyway, short story long. That's how I got the doors to work. A lot of cutting and shaping, primarily around the top. I'll show you where on here. So it's in the cup cutout up here that receives this portion of the door inner. When the door is closed, this portion of the inner can bind up on the dash, on this return on the dash that kind of intrudes a bit into the opening that it's supposed to clear. And I was doing a lot of taping and dry fitting, and in dry fit it seemed to work just fine. But lo and behold, once again, the actual assembly, the fit was slightly different, and we ended up with a bit of a bind, more so on this side. So I'm still working on that, shaving off material from here using sandpaper the best I can fit my hand in there, and the jeweler's file to try and get in there and shave that down without cutting into anything else. And it's not fun, but we're finally getting some progress. So the doors close. There is still a bit of a gap there on both the front and the rear on the passenger door. The driver's side door, fine. So the other thing I did on this project, I wanted to light it up. I wanted headlights and taillights that work. The project is destined to go into my grandson's room at their house in a case, but something that they can, maybe it can be used as a night light. And the little guy's only, he'll be 3 this year. My older the middle child is 7. He'll be 7. So what I did was here in the trunk, and I bought from Evans LED lighting, Evans, what's it called here? Evans Designs, this company. Evans Designs. So they make lighting kits, and this is the classic car lights with the warm white headlights that you would find on an older car and the red tail lights. And I'll show you what that looks like. So we got it all into the trunk, just the battery and the on-off switch there. Hopefully you can, let me try this. Maybe that's better. And popping the button with the lights that I just turned on off, and you can see we've got functioning taillights, and they're dim. I didn't want them to be overpoweringly bright in a kid's room for something destined to be like a night light. I didn't want the car to keep them awake. But you can see that the headlights and taillights work. The way to prevent the bleed through of the lighting, a lot of guys have tried lighting, and what happens is they just put the bulb in behind the light bucket, and you get all of this light coming through the plastic. And so what I did there was I used aluminum tubing for the headlights, and that is this stuff here. Right, so we just glued these to the back of the chrome buckets, drilled out the back of the plastic headlight bezel, glued the tip of the LEDs into those holes in the back of the buckets, and then slipped the aluminum over that and glued it to the back of these buckets as well. And then the whole thing just fits right into the headlight holes in the body. And that worked really well, and as you can see, there's no bleed through at all. Let me see if I can open this and get some light back in here. And we'll switch off the lights. I don't want to waste the battery here. There we go. So let me put the base on this thing if I can. Best laid plans. Here we go. So to open the hood, I have a double hinge mechanism, so it's hinged inside the body. And I say this, and then of course I can't get it to open. And hinged under the hood itself. So the hinges in the body swing up and forward like that. You can see that hinge there, and then this can rotate then up. And I have a simple hood stay, just a piece of metal piano wire with a length of tubing glued down to hold it. Anyway, there's our look inside the power barn. The Vice Grip Garage likes to call that. And you can see we've got a nice Chevy power plant in there with the turbocharge unit on it. Right? I don't know if you can see that. And here's a look at the underside of the car. And you see the wiring I've got. And I secured the wiring just with double stick Gorilla Tape here and there, just to, keep it up off the ground. Secure it up under the car. And there you can see. The other thing I had to do to get this to work was heat and bend this cross piece of the exhaust. Comes out of the manifold, and it was kind of a straight shot, but it hit the other part, this part, which is a kit part. So it wasn't going to work unless I adjusted it. So beware, if you're buying this kit and you want to put the lake pipes on, you're going to have to just make a little bend in this. And I just heated it with a lighter and made this bend, and then again to make this bend, and again and again. So in 4 places you have to bend it, down and then across and then up to get that to function, right? So there's the hood, and here's the trunk. Let's see if I can open that up for you and see. So, and I enclosed the trunk. This is just cardstock painted black. The floor, the deck is just a piece of cardstock laid over. And it tends to look, like a trunk, right? And as far as the hinging on this one goes, it's a straight bar here with 2 bends that just hook in about 1/4 of an inch, and then glued under the top here are the 2 short lengths of tubing that receive the ends of the hinge component here. And then this is glued straight across, so it just rotates under the body and drops right in. And there are tons of YouTube videos on how to cut out trunk lids and doors and stuff on your models. Essentially what you need is a nice scribing tool. This one I got on the internet. I don't even know what that says on there. It doesn't really matter. There are several companies that sell this tool. You can buy the Tamiya scribing tool. It's probably the best one. This is a cheaper imitation. Anyway, you just scribe and scribe and scribe and scribe and scribe and scribe until finally, you can take your blade and just start scoring it to finish the cut with the blade, and the part should just fall right out, as it did in this case. Okay, so anyhow, this is what the kit can look like, the final full build. It's a 1/16 scale. It's big. It's bigger than typical die cast. It's also quite heavy. It almost, I mean, it's not as heavy as a die cast car, but it's heavy for a car model. So reinforce your shelving. Right? Overall, it's a good kit. Like I said, it's an AMT kit. If you're going to detail it up, it's big enough to do whatever you want. I do have all the plumbing and wiring installed there. It comes with a couple of different diameters of tubing. What I do for this rubber tubing, it's hard to get this to go where you want, so I sleeve this over solder. Some guys will just take solder and paint it and just do that. But you can buy solder in a finer wire. And I think this is the one I used, which is 0.02 or 0.6 millimeter diameter. And it fit right inside of this tubing. And then you can, flex and bend and put the tubing, whatever contortion you need it to be, onto the model, and it ends up looking, proper, as opposed to looking like, just tubing that doesn't want to go where you want it to go. But there you can see maybe the plumbing. I don't know how focused that is. We got the radiator hoses on there. I didn't attach any linkage to the carburetor, or as yet, as I now recall, I didn't put the brake master in there yet, so I still need to do that. That's going to be fun now. But the main objective of this kit was to get the lighting into it, and so that's where I was focused. Everything else was kind of secondary. I wanted a decent outcome, have a nice finish, but I didn't invest too much time in super detail, or even in some cases going above or beyond in any phase. But as you see, I mean, it can build into a nice kit if you take your time and do all your pre-fit, test fitting and trimming, and manipulate the plastic the best you can. And again, I can't overemphasize how much you need to test fit and cut and trim and sand the major components. The chassis, the frame, and the passenger compartment, the bucket. You got to work all that stuff, and then test fit and test fit and test fit again and again and again, just to make sure that it'll all go together. And even as I was doing that, in the end, I still ended up with a problem on that passenger door. Worked during all the test fitting, but in the final assembly, it ended up somehow binding with something, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly how. So, don't be like me, go that extra step, I guess, or even when you think you've got it, check it again. Let's do that. Let's put it that way. All right, good model kit, fun build. The lighting from Evans, easy to install. I didn't have to solder anything. I just used the shrink tubing to hold my wire connections together, and that's good enough. So anyway, everybody have a great day. Thanks for viewing. I'll get these posted shortly.